Hello everyone, this is a short video on marketing using Turnitin Grademark. In this video, we're going to cover a few items which will help you along with the marketing process. Firstly, log into Turnitin UK, and then navigate into your section for marking. Some lecturers may have more than one module, so you have more than one section to mark. Then we'll look at viewing the submissions that the students make, so that you can then start the marketing process. And we're going to cover how you can provide feedback using 3 different methods: quick marks, general comments, and your grading form. So let's begin. First of all, you need to go to your web browser and type in www.turnitinuk.com, and you must go to the UK version, turnitinuk.com, and then you will see a link there, login. So here you'll put in your email address that you have used for as your username, and of course your password, so that you can log in. Now once logged in, you will see the various classes that you have been enrolled to conduct your marketing. So to start marketing, you then need to click on the class that you have been enrolled to. In this case, my test class. Okay, and once you click on your test class, you will then see the assignment for that class, and you will see actions here, view. So this is where you click on to view the submissions, and you will also see here how many students have actually submitted the assignment. So you click on view to view the submissions, and then you will see a list of students who have submitted their similarity index, and a blue pen where you can start grading those submissions individually. Now in your case, you will see anonymous here as the author, because of course there's a requirement by university to have anonymous grading. Okay, so to start marking, you click on grade, the blue pen, for your assignment, and that should open up a window where you can now see the assignment and your marking zone. So let me just explain this view in more detail here. So once you open the submission, you should get a view like this, where you will see the assignment zone. This is the student submission here. Then you will see your marking zone, this region here, and there are 4 options in terms of the marking zone. There's a quick marks button, there's general comments, and then of course there's this option to view all comments that you have placed on the assignment, and then fourthly there's the rubric or grading form. Now most assignments will be graded using a grading form and not the rubric. Alright, so this is the view that you'll be seeing. Explain the marking zone, that's this area here, and of course the student submission, that's the actual paper here. Alright, so let's get back into this. The first thing you'll probably want to do is to zoom into the student paper so that it's a bit easier on your eyes. So there you go, you can see that submission properly now, and of course you can scroll through that submission. All right, if you want to view the originality report, you have to click on this originality button here, which will then show you a breakdown of this 32% similarity index. So what I'll do is give you all the match sources to the text that the students have used and where they have taken those texts from. So for example, if I scroll through this document submitted by a student, you will see portions of it being highlighted. For example, this one here, it's saying it's coming from source 4, so you see source 4 there. Now source 4 is actually a paper submitted by a student at Anglia Ruskin University, so you can click on that source 4 there, alright, and then you can click on the little arrow there, and it will actually bring up the paper that the student took the work from. So in this case, you can see the highlighted section there, which is taken from source 4, right? And this is how you can determine if your student has actually plagiarized or poor academic practice or purposefully, intentionally copied and paste work without referencing it properly. So I mean that's how you can get the originality there. So to continue grading, of course, you go back to Grademark view, that's over here, and now you can actually start grading. Now, as I explained earlier, there's the quick marks comments that you're viewing here. These are standardized comments that you may want to put on the assignment as you mark, and there are several options. You could change the quick mark set. For example, there's commonly used, composition marks, format, punctuation, and usage. So if I change this to format, for example, the set of comments will change, and you could then use this here as well. If I change this to punctuation, again the set of comments will change, and you could then use as you see fit based on what the student has actually produced in the assignment. Then of course there's the general comment section, which you will tend to put at the end of marking, where you give 3 pieces of feedback. What is your overall feedback? How does it compare to the marking criteria? And the 3rd piece of feedback, how can you improve in the future? And this is very important because this is a key component of the feedback protocol of Anglia Ruskin University. So it's very important that every paper that you mark, every script that you mark, in the general comments area, you put this sort of feedback. What is your overall feedback on the paper? How does it compare to the marking criteria? And how can you improve in the future? All right. And then of course the third item you can use to give feedback is what we commonly use as the marking scheme or grading form. Now, usually the modulator will go into the assignment prior to the marking process, or prior to when marking starts, and will upload this grading form. So if you don't see a grading form when you start marking, you need to perhaps contact your module leader and inquire as to what's happening. Now the marking form will show you the sections or criteria, individual criteria. This one, introduction, 20 marks, literature review, 60 marks, methodology, 20 marks in this case. So what you should note is that this is not intelligent in terms of detecting if you enter a score of over 20, for example. So if I put 21 in there, it will actually accept it. So you have to be very careful that you don't enter a mark above what is the determined criteria or weighting for that criteria. It will, however, tally your score, sum your score for you here accordingly. So you can of course change this as you see fit, right? So that's the options you have in terms of grading feedback. So let's begin grading this paper, and we can start by, of course, reading the paper accordingly. And if you want to put a comment anywhere on this paper, for instance, at this point you could just click all right, and a quick mark comment box shows up, and you can type your comment here. For instance, you can say good introduction to the chapter. However, you should have outlined the key themes of the chapter. Okay, if you want to associate this comment with a particular criteria from the grading form, you can. So I might associate that with the introduction, for instance, but of course, sorry, literature review, because of course I'm reading the literature review section right now. So I choose literature review. And you could actually save this as a quick mark so that you may want to reuse this comment in the future. And you can do that without having to type it. So I'm just going to show you the process. Save as a new quick mark. And you give it a title, for example. I could probably call this no, what should I say, probably no outline in introduction. Okay, you have to of course choose an appropriate name, and I can save that in the commonly used set so that it shows up in the commonly used quick mark set, and I press save. So now there's a comment there, right? And if I want to use that same comment in the future, I can just change this to commonly used there, and I will now see the comment I just saved. There's no outline and introduction as the title, and I can drag and drop it anywhere I wish to use it again in the future. So basically the new tick is essentially a click. So anywhere you want to put a comment on the script, you could just simply scroll to that position, and you could of course click and type your comment accordingly. Now in this case, you're seeing a citation here. Perhaps you may detect that the page number is missing from the citation, for example. So you may want to go to quick marks and choose probably commonly used, and then you can perhaps say improper citation. So you could just drag and drop those quick mark standard comments into the script itself. So you could click and type your comment, all right, or you could drag and drop a comment from quick marks commonly used or standardized comments, and you have option commonly used, composition, so on and so forth. All right, so that's how you can provide feedback throughout the paper. Angular requires at least 3 comments per page in order for us to meet the feedback protocol. Okay, so throughout the script, throughout each page, you need to put in comments accordingly. Now, once you finish reading a section, you will then switch to a grading form. That's this view over here, and you could then enter the mark for each section accordingly. So say 12 mark, literature review out of 60 marks, let's say 32 marks, or probably too high. So let's say 28 marks, for example. Methodology, out of 20, I'm going to give it a 10 in this case. All right, once you're happy with your score, having read the entire paper and made comments, you can then say apply score to grade, and this will represent the final marks. Once you click apply score to grade here, it then shows up to the top here out of 100, and that's the mark the student have been assigned for their paper. Now, having given quick mark comments throughout the paper, having provided a breakdown of the marks for the students, you may also wish to put comments inside here as well. So you could probably say good introduction to the paper, but you could have provided a detailed outline of what will be covered, or whatever comment you feel is appropriate. And then of course you could type comments for each individual sections um, based on the marking criteria. What's important here is that the keywords must match the percentage mark that you're giving. Of course, you all are very familiar with that particular process. Okay, so you have a type in your individual comments in the grading form, put in the marks based on the criteria, and you have applied a score to the grade. The only thing you have left to be done here now is of course to put in a general comment at the end here, which will be based on our feedback protocol of what is your overall feedback. So you may type something in there, and you could probably use the overall score to give your overall feedback. How does it compare to the marking criteria? So then you may want to comment specifically on each individual section, and then how can you improve in the future? So you may have identified weaknesses in the paper. You may just want to let the student overall know how they can improve on future papers and so on. Also note there's an option here for voice comments. So you could give these comments, what is your overall feedback, comparison to marking criteria, and how can you improve in the future using a voice comment, for example. So you just press the record button there, and you could give up to a 3-minute long voice comment. Okay, so once you have finished marking the paper, all right, just to recap that, you will first of all want to zoom in to see the paper at a comfortable size, and then secondly, while you're reading the script, you may want to click and add your personal comments. You could save those comments to quick marks, which is this first button there. And if you want as well, you could actually just drag and drop quick marks onto the sheet, onto the paper, right? And remember, there are different type of quick marks, standardized quick marks that you could choose from. So you should get familiar with this, all right? And then of course you put your marks on the grading criteria with comments, perhaps for each individual section. You apply the score, so it shows up there. And at the end, you want to give general comments based on our feedback protocol. 3 items. What is your overall feedback? How does it compare to the marking criteria? And how can you improve in the future? Once you complete that, you press save. And then of course you could exit the paper by clicking the close button up there. Once you close off the paper, you will then see the grade as you have applied to each individual paper. To continue marking, you just click on the next blue pen which is available, and you continue marking. Thank you very much.